Hey, it's Obs here, and it's time to rule the seas with Big Pirate Rogue. The idea behind this deck was inspired by the fact that we have enough big pirates to actually use Vanndar Stormpike in Rogue, which is a combination I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. And I figured, what would be a better way to send off Sunken City with a pirate theme deck? The basic idea behind the deck is to use a Thief Rogue package of Reconnaissance, Tooth of Nefarian, and Jackpot for early game removal or even late game removal that Rogue might not normally have access to, while you're looking for Vanndar Stormpike through your dredge cards such as Swordfish, Gone Fishing, or such. With Vanndar being included in the deck, you actually have a huge possible swing turn with all your big pirates because you can use Gangplank Divers on the turn before you slam down both Mistress Might and Pirate Admiral Hooktusk, which could steal a huge taunt from your opponent, or even steal their win condition, as you'll be seeing in some of the replays here. For the Mulligan guide of the deck, you of course are looking for Vanndar to keep in your opening hand. Other than this, the most important other cards to look for are things like Gone Fishing, Jackpot, Reconnaissance, Tooth of Nefarian, or if you have a preparation in the starting hand, things like Shroud of Concealment and Ajaran Vessels are really good, as you can get these on turn 2 if you don't actually have the coin, and if you have the coin, you can get them on turn 1, which usually just wins you the game outright. Alright, with that all being said, let's look at some games. Okay, time for a game against Priest. Opening hand doesn't look awful besides the scabs being in the starting hand. Everything else we can actually just keep. We are going first. Oh, there's Vanndar. That's actually really good to see. Oh, we can discount the Gone Fishing, or if it hits Shroud, that's fine too. That's one of the better minions to draw into early game. Probably don't want to use Shroud, because we do have Vanndar in our hand. So we're probably just going to... Oh, never mind. Jackpot actually gives us a different answer. Okay, so we're a slower deck, and we have to rely on the fact that they can't complete their quest line until turn 9-ish. And we have to also rely on the fact of drawing into a Hooktusk before they can actually shuffle in their questline reward into their deck, which is perfectly possible. Well, Swordfish is helpful. I don't know if we want to get whatever pirate we see. Hooktusk is good, but we can actually discount her next turn and still have a way to draw into her pretty quickly. So we're still in a really good position. 8 pirates in between then and now. Play Vanndar, then just go face. There's the second one of those. Let's use Shroud, and it isn't actually minion spell. Well, we have the Hooktusk. I guess we can go for Reconnaissance instead. Backing into the 2/6. Mountain Bear is pretty good. Really should have went for the Hooktusk there. Don't know why I didn't, but past me make some weird choices from time to time, because it does allow us to just slam down a 5/6. Let's put down Krakatoa, kill their 2 minions. Hitting them really, really low. It is turn 7, so we have to survive a little bit longer. We also, I guess, not drawing into Hooktusk as quickly as possible does minimize the risk of a Mutanus killing our Hooktusk, which had happened in the past too. We're gonna heal a little bit, 5-card board. Jarn Vessel, okay. Down a Diver, let's turn back.
I'm undead, not dead.
Okay, so we could bounce everything back. I don't know if we want to give them a Zyrilla though. Let's use command of Neptulon, getting rid of the Cyrilla. Makes our counterbit stash a little bit better, drawing a card here. Probably again should have went for the Hook Tusk, but oh well. Out of Concealment, let's see what we get. Diver, and there's the Hook Tusk from the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we have a 1/5 chance of just losing Hook Tusk randomly. Should be fine still, I would assume. Just put down the Diver, then we can shuffle the Cutlass back into the deck. Pass turn back, discounting the spell that I'll probably never use. They do burn Murazad, which is actually really good for us. It's one of the better cards for them to burn. As long as they still have Mutanus, though, we might be in a little bit of an annoying situation. Okay, they're going to use Draconid Operative. I don't know what they can actually get out of my deck at this point that would help them. Ah, a Jarn Vessel. That actually helps a little bit, I guess. So we're going to slam down Mr. Smite, shuffling back the Operative back into the deck. Trying to maximize damage we can actually do this turn. Because if possible, I would prefer to be able to try to kill them before they actually get their questline done. Okay, so they played down their hero card, which is fine. We're going to put down a Whelp to free up their hand a little bit. Kill our entire board. Heal up a little bit. Okay, so we don't want to put down Hook Tusk even if she's active right now. I'm going to try to snipe out the questline reward from their hand whenever they get to play it. Shuffling this back into the deck. Swordfish is actually pretty good. Let's use it. Ooh, no pirates. Okay, so we're going for Tooth of Nefarian just because it gives us some damage. Puts us one off of lethal if we survive it long enough. 2/5 attack minion. 3/5 attack minions. Okay, so they actually managed to kill our board. We probably should have used the 9-cost spell in our hand, but oh well. We can try to get them as low as possible or just pass the turn back because we can't kill them this turn. And I don't want to use resources that I don't have access to normally. Okay, so they're going to heal. Blackwater Behemoth does complete their questline. Okay, now, can we have the 2 in 10 odd of actually getting rid of whatever card out of their hand that we actually want? On questline reward. Come on. There we go. We can just put it down. And now we have the game from this point forward. Let's see what we get off of Reconnaissance too. Okay, Undying Disciple is actually pretty decent here too. Now we just have to figure out a way to draw into the questline reward pretty quickly. They use Drown, which shuffles it into the deck, which means in theory they could actually draw into it before we kill their board. Jarn Vessel again. Let's use our hero power. Flurry is maybe the... I don't know. Command, in theory, could be better. But Flurry is better if we can actually make it matter. And I don't know if it'll ever matter. The Zack is... Okay. I guess that works as an alternate win condition. But they did just shuffle in their actual win condition into their deck, so that means they're getting rid of it. I'm assuming they were afraid we'd bounce back the Zyrilla just so we could maybe get additional copies, but Alright, and off the top tick. There's the questline reward. Okay, time for a game against Shaman. I'm going to get rid of Shadow Step and Preparations. Preparations actually might have been decent to keep. So Shadow Crafter Scabs is not something I want to see. Well, we're just going to pass the turn back since we have nothing to do on turn 1. Now it's a 50-50 shot if I want to use Reconnaissance or Jackpot. Reconnaissance is probably better just to see if what can generate something like Mountain Bear. Kind of interesting, they're not really doing much. We're going to use their hero power, pass the turn back. That's actually a pretty decent one to get. And use Swordfish to see what we can generate. Grabbing the Pirate, because why not? Hey, so they're actually rogue, which means this is going to be a little bit annoying. I did actually think about using Gnolls in the deck. The reason why I didn't in the end was because I didn't know what the interaction between them and Vanndar is. I did not want to spend like 5 minutes to like an hour of testing to just figure out the Gnolls actually turn off Vanndar. And there wasn't really that much room for them in the deck. I don't know where you would... They're going to use Trickster, Blood in the Water. Well, good thing we have Mountain Bear, I guess. Use the Mountain Bear and then just go face. We do have a turn 6 play with a Warlock spell that I can't remember its name. Yeah, this. Doesn't really technically get rid of their board, but it does help a little bit. Also depends on how much they want to attack with into the Mountain Bear. Okay, so they actually do clear out most of their own board, which is good. Krakatoa or Kravatoa is a little bit annoying. We don't get technically rid of it if we do use the Warlock spell here. We could also use Contraband if we really feel like it. But I think this is probably the safer bet. Sure, it doesn't clear out their board. It puts them below 5 HP though, and does clear out at least 1, minimizing the damage. Then we do have the Contrabands. We duplicate that spell if we really feel like it. We're going to draw 2 cards here. Come on, overextend a little bit. Okay, there's the next Gnoll. Flame Strike's going to be really, really nice next turn. Ooh, there's Vanndar. Don't know if I'm going to play him next turn, though. It really depends on how many more minions that they put down. I think Scabs might be the safest bet turn, though. Or a Stash. Stash. Get 2 or 3 extra damage. 3 more damage. We're at 2 HP. Okay, we're definitely going to have to use Scabs. We're at 1 HP, and I don't want to be at 1 HP against a rogue deck. I mean, 6 HP isn't much better than 1 HP. Disciple's probably the best bet. I don't know when I'm going to play it. Same thing with Vanndar. I don't know if Vanndar will actually come up. Oh, they have a Scabs of their own. Okay. Well, good thing the Counterband stash actually is pretty decent. And put this down and still have enough mana to put that down so we get an even bigger wall between them and our face. Those were never going to live. Okay, so we'll equipped weapon just to put some more pressure on the board. We have 11 damage on board plus the 2 from our weapon puts them at 10 HP next turn. Depending on how we play this, Mr. Smite and another pirate might actually win us the game. They are going to get us dangerously low, though, with that Ajara. Okay, how many spells do they have? And will it be enough? If it isn't enough. They actually just played a stash with... Because we can't push or pass the turn back. Smite is 7 mana. And if we discount the other pirate in our hand, we have 3 mana left over, which means we have 10 damage right here. And bounce back their Jara and just win here. Okay, time for a game against Warlock. And we do have Vanndar in our opening hand, which is pretty good. Going to probably mulligan away the Diver, keeping the Jackpot and the Ajaran Vessel. Jarn Vessel actually isn't that bad to keep in your open hand. We don't have a turn 1 play, which is kind of sad, but we do have a turn 2, 3, and 4. But we are going second, so we're probably going to only have a turn 2 and 3 play. Okay, so they put down a minion and pass the turn to us, and we're just going to pass it back to them. Scabs isn't really a top deck that I wanted to see this yet in the game. Well, we're going to use Reconnaissance, since this should, in theory, give us a better play this turn. Space Rock is probably the safest bet. We actually could place down the Space Rock here, just to place it down. Or we could just pass the turn back. Because I really want to use Vanndar next turn, and I don't want to see some random spell that might be pretty good to actually have. Then probably put down the Space Rock. Okay, so they're going to kill Vanndar. I'm fine with them killing it. It doesn't really matter. We can't bounce it back. Okay, let's see what we get off of Swordfish. Going for the Diver, just because it will give us 4 extra attack. Go face. 6 damage here. Okay, let's use the Yarn Vessel. Keep going face. Diver actually doesn't really do anything. We just needed the additional attack on our weapon. And technically we didn't even need that, but... Okay, get them really, really low here. I thought about using Renathal, and then I remembered Renathal was a 3-cost card, which means Vanndar wouldn't be online unless we RNG'd our way into drawing into Renathal before Vanndar, and I did not feel like that was a good idea.
Side effects? No. Trust me.
Okay, so they actually will be able to kill our entire board. Let's see what we can actually randomly generate here, though. I'm assuming they're probably Phylactrophy Warlocks, so if we actually can get Hooked Tusk before they can get their Phylactrophy off, we might be able to actually just steal their combo. It also depends on which version of Phylactrophy Warlock it is, too. Okay, there's Preparation. We can turn that into a Jellyfish and then nuke both minions. Use Jackpot to see what we get. Best in the Shell, in theory, could be good. I think putting down the Diver just to put down the Diver, so if they have any big minion, we can get rid of it instantly, should be probably a better idea here. Okay, the second Meteor Rod, which means they're going to get even more discounts on their hand. Trade this in, see what we get. Gone Fishing. Okay. Now, do we want to use Jackpot, or do we want to summon the 3 statue? 3 statues is probably the better bet. And we can Preparation, grabbing a Sunken Vessel, which gets us 2 more pirates. Getting another pirate in our hand. Okay, that's pretty good. So they're the meal version of Phylactrophy. Might be a little bit more annoying to deal with. We could, in theory, bounce back the 7/7 to their deck with the... Oh, Hooked Tusk actually is kind of funny here. I don't think she's actually triggered yet, so we can't really play her. Let's bounce that back to the deck. If we can prevent them from getting the Death Rattle off, then we're perfectly good here. And bounce back the pirate just to get another one on board. Bounce back one of the 1/5s, attack into the other one with 2 of the statues, and then just go face from here. I think we need, what, maybe 1 more pirate? And let's just generate some random stuff here. Okay, so Hooked Tusk is online now, and we do have Whirlpool, so if we in theory get a Shellfish, we should be able to just prevent them from getting the Death Rattle at all, and then just win the game from there. Probably going to want to steal cards from their deck, to be honest. Their deck or their hand. Okay, let's see what we get here. We probably should have actually played another card first too, because if we're stealing 5 cards from their deck. Okay, we did get one of the shellfish, which is actually pretty good. And we do have preparation to cheat out the whirlpool next turn in combination with putting it down. Deliverance is probably the safest bet. I don't know if anything here does anything else. This will draw us a card. As long as they don't draw the second one, or they're missing the phylactery, we're in actually a really good position. Summon a minion. I'm curious what the last 2 cards in their deck are. It has to be the second selfish and phylactery, right? Or they only play 1. Also probably did this wrong, because the more we delay doing what I think I should be doing, the higher chance they have the amount of mana that I actually needed for the combo that I have in mind. I'm okay with them getting rid of the board if that means we can actually live an additional turn. So we don't have enough damage to just outright kill them. We can use the combo here and then get rid of both these shellfish. We're going to use Treasure Guard, Asmin, Sin. I will never get that one right, and they give up. Now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. Overall, this deck performed relatively alright, though the reason why I ended up wanting to keep with this deck is because I had some really good games with it very early on in testing, and those were just such a delight to actually be able to showcase. However, with that being said, I don't think this is the best way to actually build Pirate Rogue right now, especially given the fact that there is a clear weakness for this deck, which is aggro-based decks with a bunch of minions. You don't have a real easy way to deal with everything. You have to rely on your reconnaissance or jackpot to actually generate you something that will get rid of your entire opponent's board. And outside of those cases, you probably will just end up losing it. However, this is a lot of fun to actually play, and is honestly something that no one's going to expect to see out of a rogue deck, because who would have expected Vanndar to actually be halfway decent in rogue? Because I sure wouldn't. This deck has a really high potential for the future if we do see more Pirate Rogue support, but if we don't, then maybe Vanndar will be revisited in some type of other rogue-based deck if we get a bunch of high-cost minions. With that all being said, this is a deck that I can't honestly easily recommend, just because it doesn't have the most consistent win rate, but if you've been wanting to use Vanndar in a rogue deck, but otherwise just don't try to actually make this work. It's not the best deck in the world, but is a fun way to send off the expansion. And with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye-bye.